I think we're going live. Yeah, we went live. I think, look, if you could see us, and I know you can.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Oh, yeah. I love that little thing.
I could do all sorts of things from here. I could pause this video. I could finish it up. I could stop it right now. I could go to a new scene, but I have to program the new scene. But, you know, this was as much as my Gen X brain could take for one vacation period of time. And then I have some Zoom stuff coded into the bottom row.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got a Zoom call coming up soon, right?
Yeah, I think at 4:00 if everybody joins us. It might just be me and you, but you know what? I already started the, you can call this champagne for the new year, right? But it's Prosecco because I prefer Prosecco.
Oh, okay. Was that Italian champagne?
It's Italian champagne. Apparently, it's you know, it's done in a different process. There's a different process used in Italy versus, you know, France. So.
Well, you're an Italian, Italian connoisseur of Italian foods and wines and champagnes.
I do. My favorite wines are Italian wines, and you know,
My favorite food is Italian food.
I think I think when we're looking to adopt an adult child,
Yes.
I think we should just go to Italy because at least like then in our old age they could just cook for us, like you know, because they're born able to cook. Like everybody there is an amazing chef, right? So how do we look? How do we sound? Is everything okay? Like I see all these messages piling in. It's like pretty amazing, and this is some artwork that Max got me all the way from Northern Europe. From a Cypherpunk Future is Now artist.
But yeah, we got this, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of art. I'm gonna get it out.
You're gonna hold it up, right? I'm gonna go see what the people are saying. That's really attractive.
Take a good look.
They can see the Bitcoin bit. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going over to youtube.com/orange pill. Oh, I see the Cypherpunk Future Now. And I see 103 people on there. Oh, look. Ow. Okay, so life is amazing. Was I banned from your Telegram? Probably, if you were an incel or you know, deserving of the shoe, or talking about shitcoins, or being a Karen, or complaining, or just being negative and just disobeying my orders.
Yep.
That's what
banned.
happens.
That's it. There's no coming back.
There's no coming back.
Not in this lifetime. But thank God Bitcoin is good in the afterlife. So that was always a barrier, you know, whenever you hear people say, well, you can't take it with you. You never see a hearse, dragging a safe. You know, you ever hear that?
No, I never heard that one, but I like it.
You never see a hearse pulling a safe, right? But in actuality, with Bitcoin, you can take it with you. It is good in the afterlife. That's one of the remarkable qualities of Bitcoin. Death, it doesn't stop Bitcoin. That people say, what's going to stop Bitcoin? Not even death can stop Bitcoin. That's how powerful Bitcoin is. I mean, that's what the regulators are up against. They're like, oh, what are we going to do to stop this thing? It's going to kill all the central banks. It's going to kill all the banks on Wall Street. We got to do something. They're not going to do nothing. They're
not going to do anything.
Like these dinosaurs here in this beautiful artwork, they get blown out. By Bitcoin was the meteor. Bitcoin is the quantum change in our reality. The space-time continuum is being restarted, and there's a hard wink from the hologram.
Hard wink.
Hard wink from the hologram.
It's a hard wink.
It's a hard wink a coming.
This has been an amazing week, I have to tell you. Well, first of all, I learned how to program this Stream Deck.
Well done.
So that was amazing. Instead of me having to go straight up into the camera and try to fiddle around, find the start or stop button, that was great. Bitcoin is now, I hit your target max of 28,000.
I made that target 2 years ago.
Yeah, you made that. You called that two and a half, right?
Yep.
2.5 years ago.
Yep.
and it hit that. And you said that it was going to hit 28,000 on the pullback, and it of course did that. And now you called for 35,000. So I think I'm kind of getting in the feeling, just because the way the price action is, that once again, just like in 2012, 13, and 14, Max Kaiser is controlling the price of Bitcoin.
Because I'm partially in the hologram, so I see the future, and I saw this 2.5 years ago that we'd be hitting 28,000 by the end of 2020. And I noticed no technical analyst anywhere in the Bitcoin space made that as accurate a call. The people who say, "Oh, I'm a technical analyst," you know who they are. They're known to be technical analysts. Not a single one had made the call 2.5 years ago that Bitcoin would hit 28,000 at the end of 2020, except Max Kaiser, because I have partially mastered the Bitcoin hologram, and I am getting messages directly through the holographic passage from Satoshi. I am Satoshi's representative on Earth. That's why people call me the Bishop of Bitcoin. And that's why my predictions have been as accurate as they are, because they're actually coming from the future.
You know, people used to laugh at you when you said that kind of shit, including myself. But then I noticed like more and more people, like, you know, even Marshall Long, who's a miner, like I know he used to laugh at things about you talking about hash rate, and now he's just like consults you all the time on Twitter. Like, this is what, because he's an OG Bitcoin miner and has been mining Bitcoin since 2010. And so he was like, now he's like looking to you.
Right. Well, in the hash rate, part of the puzzle is, I don't think, well understood. So when the hash rate of Bitcoin went to 150 quintillion calculations per second, then that was last year, really. And it was building up to that over 2 years. So there's an implied Bitcoin price, because, as I've been saying, hash rate leads price. Most people think, oh, price leads hash rate. That's incorrect. You don't really know your Bitcoin if you think that. It's hash rate leads price. So when hash rate got to 150 quintillion hashes per second, this confirmed that we were heading to 28,000. Now, to reach some kind of equilibrium to where hash rate was last year, that's where I get my 35,000 per Bitcoin number. So now Marshall Long, who's a miner and knows the business quite well, he's saying that hash rate is plateauing for a few months until we get a new generation of ASIC miner, and then he expects hash rate to double in 2021. Okay, that's an incredible jump in hash rate.
Like in January or by the end of 2021?
He said, I think by the second quarter of 2021. The hash rate of Bitcoin will double. So then you have an implied price, because hash rate leads price. And that's where I'm coming out with my 2021 price prediction, which I'm going to be talking to Daniela Cambrian on her show next week. Daniela Cambone on her show next week. We're going to be giving my 2021 price prediction.
Oh, that I see. There's a delay. See, I pressed a button here and the overlay. I could turn on and off the overlay.
No, that's awesome. You mean the
you see the green thing is gone?
Yeah, what do we call that in TV business?
The overlay. The Chiron.
Chiron, yeah. It's like our own Chiron, yeah.
Do you like it with or without? What do you want? What do you want? Tell us.
I think you've got to come in and out of it, like on TV. You know, they come,
just to remind.
They bring it in every once in a while. You say, "Oh, wow, look at that cool shit," and then it fades away. You know.
Like, I think we look really cypherpunk. So these people want to see your T-shirt. By the way, you have to pull down so you can see the text.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't get the whole visual. Thank you for that. But what about sound? Can I?
They can't hear you.
I can't do both.
I could do this.
It says Cypherpunk future is now. And then the back says is what Stacy has, right? Can you see that?
Yeah, they could see it.
All right. So this is the shirt that is sold by this artist who did this poster as well. Okay. I asked him to make a special version of this shirt for me where the text was on the front, because I have my collection of t-shirts with text on the front, and he sent me one and I just got it and now I'm wearing it.
Yeah, we got a warning message. Like, first I unpackaged it and I was like, this smells like marijuana. And then I read the handwritten message from the artist, and he's like, there's some sort of toxic material that I put this on. So make sure whatever you do, you wash it before wearing it because it's some sort of acid. And I was like, oh, I just inhaled it all. That's
I was, in the process of lighting it up, rolling it into a giant huff bone and smoking it. But, then we thought, let's put the shirt into the wash and get rid of this residue.
Huff bone? Is that what you called it?
Huff bone.
I never heard of that.
Really?
Who else here? Has anyone heard of huff bone?
Huff bone. I mean, that is colloquialism.
Okay, people want to see you smoke the shirt. I want to see it.
Huff bone. I mean, this is, from 1970s, really. I think 1970s, 1980s.
I had already moved out of Queens. Hey, did you see that story from Queens this week? So this is how you have to understand New York City. People who come from New York is you have like those pizza rats. We talked about that. I think the last microdose, but they also have, these squirrels attacking people in Queens, part of Queens, Rego Park area. And the thing about it is that there are these photos accompanying the story. First of all, with like this squirrel hanging on somebody's window, like looking in there, like, I'm going to get you. I know you stole my nuts, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one, like a photo of the aftermath of this woman being attacked by a squirrel, and there's blood all over the snow.
Yeah, it's like Cujo, remake of Cujo, but featuring rabid squirrels. And they're attacking people en masse. This is the story. This is how 2020 goes out with a squirrely bang. Rabid squirrels attacking humans. They look so friendly, don't they? But think about it. Without those furry tails, they're basically rats, right? So here you got a whole surrounding. You're surrounded by these cute little rats, and they've gone mad, and they're attacking humans now. This is the apocalypse.
Greetings from Mexico. They are incredible. I hope one day you return to Mexico City. We love you. Yeah, we hope we go there too. CDMX. Like we love Mexico City. It's one of our favorite places. It's kind of, it has such a cool vibe. Like that is like the art center of the world. I think that's the coolest art I've ever seen is in Mexico City.
Yeah, it could be. It's really fantastic. It's so raw. And it's tied into that culture, the
Aztec, Mayan. It's like Mayan all the native and
culture that's really fascinating. And it's completely different than European, right? European tends to be a bit fey.
Yeah, it's tough. It kind of feels like this. Like I love. What do you think of this T-shirt? Because it's pretty. I think it's pretty. Cypherpunk looking, punk looking. That's kind of my whole, thing. When I grew up, I was like, I caught the tail end of the punk rock thing. And the thing is, like, my best friend, her older brothers, she had like 3 older brothers, and they were into punk rock. So, and they were like 5 or 6 years older than us.
Yeah.
So, I got into this cool, British punk, like more like the Clash and Sex Pistols and stuff like that. But like that's my attitude. So I've noticed like the artwork developing around all of our stuff, and I love the artwork. Of course, Rick Stoner, RDBTC. And Luigi, he's
Luigi.
He's always coming up with stuff.
Rick Stoner, boy,
Rick Stoner. Yeah, they come up with cool stuff. But I noticed like our attitude or our brand is like building exactly how I feel inside. Like, Train Spotting meets Studio 54. Like that whole the aesthetic of Train Spotting, including. That lust, the soundtrack, especially the lust for life.
Yeah, Iggy Pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I love that whole period. I think that's our brand, really. Just pushing that. That's the Bitcoin vibe. That was, Bitcoin is like punk money. It's do-it-yourself money, which was what the punk aesthetic is all about. They got rid of prog rock, and prog rock, like central banks, like Aqualung, which is a song by Jethro Tull. So Jethro Tull, an Electric Light Orchestra, and those prog rock arena bands of the 70s are the central banks. They're the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve Bank, Bank of Japan. And then along comes punk and reinvents rock and roll from scratch. And this is what Bitcoin saw all of the central banks in 2008 and 2009. And it just said, we're going to create our own money. And we don't need banks. We don't need central banks. We don't even need gold. We're going to create money. We're going to working on this for 20 years, the Cypherpunk movement as it's known. And it came out in 2009. And now it's over $500 billion market cap. And it's one of the top 10, I think, currencies in the world, heading to number 1. Central banks are quite nervous, as they should be. And so punk really worked out. Punk meets money. Cypherpunk, orange pill is the cypherpunk movement as it relates to Bitcoin.
All right. I like that. I love the colors. I love the colors of the shirt. I love the color of the art there. I like it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel orange. It makes me feel orange pilled. It makes me feel high on life.
Yeah, it's an hallucinogenic quality about it, for sure. I sent you that thing where somebody did an experiment that if two people stare into each other's eyes continuously for 10 minutes, they'll experience hallucinations. And I think we're going to try that someday. I don't know if we can do it today because,
on live on air. It does work because I used to do it with my cat Rocky.
Yeah.
So she would lie on my my chest while I was in my bed.
Yeah.
Upstairs, when I was a little girl, and I would do this and I would stare into her eyes like this. And she would like be like, and then she would stop and stare, and then her the pupils would dilate and go like this, and then she would like whack me in the face really hard and then jump up and run away. It was an interesting relationship we had.
Well, apparently, that's all very fine and well.
It taught me, basically, like I channel my cat Rocky. She was a girl cat, but I called her Rocky because actually the very first time I ever picked her up, she was our neighbor's Peter. His cat had like 3 or 4 kittens, and I picked this one up, and it hit me in the face. It was like a little tiny kitten, and I was like, and Rocky had just come out, and I said, let's like call her Rocky. Of course, I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7, and you don't really think of gender and all that stuff right then, right? And like that Rocky is a boy name. I was like, I didn't know if it was a boy or girl. I was just like, I wanted this cat that hit me in the face. So, call her. But when I go into the Orange Pill Telegram group, that is how I think of Rocky when I like take out the orange sparkly shoe and spank people and kick them out, and like that's the way I do it.
You're gonna eat thunder and crap lightning. No. Yeah, Burgess Meredith. Think about this guy. His career was pretty much done. He played the Penguin on Batman TV show, and then boom, Rocky, huge. Global sensation.
Cat slaps are just a sign of love. If you've ever seen the ones that Rocky hit me, especially if I stared into her eyes too long, and she would gently hit me in the face to wake me up in the middle of the night to let her out or feed her, like at 2 or 3 in the morning.
It depends on the size of the cat. Certainly a tiger slapping your face with the claws out.
Yeah.
I don't think would be a gesture of love so much as a maiming.
Well, it could have been a gesture of love that ends up killing you. It's just like it's all about intent, right? It's all about intent.
Killing me softly with your paws.
Yeah, that's a song like that. Killing me softly with your love.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That was back at the MASH.
What's the Bitcoin price? 28,687. And how much you want to bet? If you go into the Orange Pill podcast Telegram group, there will be people saying, "Oh, it's crashed."
Really?
From 28,800.
Yeah, well, it's going higher, and there's just overwhelming buying interest and not any sellers, right? So simple supply and demand tells you it's going higher. And at $500 billion to 600 billion market cap, it's really cheap compared to gold. So it's got a long way to go on the upside. And you got Russell
Okung.
He went 50% salary in Bitcoin, which is an incredible high watermark in this industry. It's an incredible moment in this industry.
I think he's on $13 or $14 million a year, so he's converting it via Jack Mallers, his LN lightning strike.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And according to Mallers, he's got several more professional athletes lined up. You said got New York Yankees and others. And you can just pick, and he's going to roll it out, I guess, in 3 or 4 months. Anybody can take advantage of this. You just decide what percentage of your paycheck do you want converted into Bitcoin whenever the paycheck comes in, and it goes right into cold storage. And so, the comments by Russell were spot on, saying that he wants to essentially have his money doesn't want it wasting away in fiat money. Echoing the sentiments of Michael Saylor and others. And so that's another. So he's made it safe for professional athletes to get into Bitcoin, which will lead to professional entertainers and movies and things like that, right? And Paul Tudor Jones made it safe for hedge funds, and Michael Saylor made it safe for corporations. And you had the folks at Morgan Creek Capital talking about pension funds, laboring for years over there at Morgan Creek Capital, like, get off zero. Get off zero. Get off zero.
Mark Yusko was first.
Right. Mark Yusko and his gang over there. Get off zero. And so now every piece, Mass Mutual insurance industry, which is a very conservative industry, they're now into Bitcoin. So that's another huge pocket of money. When do the sovereign wealth funds come in? Like the sovereign wealth fund of Norway or Qatar. They are $1 trillion plus funds. I'm sure we'll hear from them very soon saying, oh, we put 1%, 2%, 5% into Bitcoin. When do various sovereigns themselves just say, look, we're putting Bitcoin into our strategic reserves along with the dollar and gold and whatever else?
Yeah.
Right? That's going to be coming as well. So the amount of, there's $100 trillion in various funds that are being managed for folks. If you add up people's real estate portfolios and other assets, there's $300 trillion in wealth. And floating around, that's liquid or semi-liquid. And so here's a market cap for Bitcoin. It's still around $500 billion. And so you can see very, very well, where this price is going. The demand is off the charts. The supply is...
I saw a great chart highlighting. I think somebody in the Orange Pill podcast group posted it actually, of basically the serious supply crunch is coming in the next few months, like 3 to 6 months from now. And you could see that coming, right? I mean, like, for example, that guy, the Mooch, he's just like, he's an ordinary hedge fund guy, right? Like, he's a small time hedge fund guy. He's not like a Paul Tudor Jones or a Stan Druckenmiller.
I'd say he's like mid-size.
Yeah. He's just mid-size, like nothing exceptional. The only thing that made him really exceptional was when he worked for 11 days for Donald Trump. But nevertheless, like, he does get on the news, mostly because he worked for Donald Trump for 11 days. But he was on the news saying, he went on saying that his Skybridge Capital is going to invest $25 million in Bitcoin. But in fact, he invested $182 million. He went out and invested $182 million. Because once you start, you can't stop, right?
Once you take a look at it, you're like, damn, I need more.
Like, I was going to do some live smash buys on swanbitcoin.com/Stacy. STACY, no E. No freaking E. Who puts an E in Stacy? Freaking hell, I'm going to smash my orange sparkly shoe on you.
Karens do that.
Anyway, so the thing is, like, he bought, because once you start, you can't stop. And I did that, like, I was going to smash buy on swanbitcoin.com during this live microdose.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help myself. I just freaking did it all. Like, I blew my wad before coming on air.
Yeah, same thing here. We were all signed up to do smash buys on air. And then by the time we went on air, I'd already smashed by my limit. So, it's just once you start smash buying, once you start buying, there's no stopping, because what's underneath the unconscious mind, your Bitcoin consciousness, starts to drive the bus.
Orange pillness, the orange pill
mind,
the orange pilldom.
Right. It just like starts. It's underneath even the lizard brain.
I saw that. I was in some group with a Bitcoin rabbi. I think he was in Swan Bitcoin's Telegram group, and it was announced Steve Mnuchin said, "Oh, that they started to send out the first checks at midnight last night." So Bitcoin Rabbi went and like smash bought $600 worth because he knew he was going to be compensated by the taxpayer with this.
Smart.
So yeah, right then, like it was like I don't know, 26,000, a little bit over 26,000, and then it started to soar because the news was trickling through that these the stimulus checks were going out.
But think of the genius of that, really, because the population is being trained to think that money printing from the government will make this hard asset go up in price.
Yeah.
And once, money printer go burr, remember that meme?
Yeah.
Once people figure out that the government money printing is the worst thing ever, and the only way to prevent utter devastation is to buy the fastest horse in the race, as Paul Tudor Jones calls it, Bitcoin. It's just going to get out of hand. Like everyone is going to be laughing hysterically. There's going to be millions of people in America that are just getting super rich. Like, I didn't get a check from the government.
Neither did I.
Okay, we don't qualify. But nevertheless, because we have a lot of Bitcoin, right? It's like we're benefiting anyway. Like, okay, you can keep your $600, because my Bitcoin just went up 5%.
Yeah.
So you can print all day you want, and you can not send me a check. Okay, fine. I've got my own sovereignty. Okay, you've got that Washington, D.C. thing going on with the White House and all them senators and Congress people and the Supreme Court and all that stuff. Like, okay, that's all great. I love to watch that on TV. But I've got my own sovereignty. I've got my own currency, and it's crushing your fiat garbage. And we'll see where this is all heading.
Hey, I figured out how to watch it on this instead of the laptop.
Wow, this is a watershed day. This is an awesome day.
I love it. I'm learning so much in this. I figured out how to, code that, program the Stream Deck. It actually only took like not even 2 minutes. Like, all I had to, I can't believe I took all that time. Like I just again, it shows you the mental, like how your brain just talks you out of things. Like I assumed it was going to be difficult to program it.
Yeah.
But in fact, it was like, it took me 2 minutes. So,
I was thinking the other day when I was a kid, I used to read comic books like kids do. And in the back of the comic books, there were always these advertisements for stuff like X-ray specs.
Yeah.
Or, things that were like bizarro.
We always got the little, what are those, the little fish, the little drag, like horse.
Yeah, you grow your own little fish in a cup or stuff like that. And what's weird about living in 2021 is that we now have X-ray specs, and they really work, right? They have the ability to see through walls and through thermal. Well, yeah, thermal cameras. You can pick up heat and things like that. And also different radiation, different frequencies. And I was just seeing that some new technology which allows for, you can see through solid objects and things like that. Mm-hmm. And just think about it. As a kid, that was all seen as complete and utter nonsensical, not even science fiction, just like tawdry comic book shit. And, I think it was Bazooka Joe who once said,
none of the Gen Z or millennials know.
Does anyone know who Bazooka Joe is? Well, there was a bubble gum back then called Bazooka. And in the Bazooka gum, you wrap it, and there's a little comic book there, which, it smelled like that pink chewing gum. It has that distinct smell. I have no idea where that smell comes from.
I bet it smells really toxic. Well, I mean, there weren't, I don't know. It was probably like DDT and sugar, right?
Yeah, I don't know, and then the little comic thing was in there too. You had to be careful when you're opening the gum not to rip the comic, right? So you open this gum, right? Okay, then you take the comic out and you unfold the comic.
By the way, little Max is opening this in the back seat of a car without a seatbelt on because back seats didn't have seatbelts back in those days.
We didn't have any seatbelts in the 60s until until the later 60s.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember my dad was saying, when there was this like, hey, you got to start wearing seatbelts. He's like, that's ridiculous. If we get into a crash, I can always put my arm in front of you and save you. It's like, see, that makes sense, right? So anyway, you unfold this little comic that's in the little bazooka gum, and there it is. It's Bazooka Joe, and it's like 1 or 2 panels comic strip, and it's a really dumb joke, like super dumb, like the dumbest joke possible. And you're like,
a dad
wow,
joke sort of thing.
Like, that's super dumb. But Bazooka Joe is a dimwit, but nevertheless, it's entertaining for, if you're 5 years old. It's about the only thing that you have there's to entertain.
We had no internet back then.
There's no internet.
We didn't have like porn and shit like that to tune into.
Right. I mean, if you look at memes back then, the only thing we had was Silly Putty. Exactly. Silly Putty was the original meme, right? So for you millennials and Gen Z, Silly Putty for 10 cents, you get the little plastic egg, and inside is Silly Putty, which is this.
You have to describe what it was. I don't know.
Yeah, it's flesh-colored putty, and this is endless hours of amusement. You put it on the newspaper, and it picks up the print of the newspaper.
Wow!
And then you pull the putty, and everything gets distorted.
Yeah,
right. So suddenly
cool.
the head is all misshapen and stuff. It's like, wow, look at this. I'm creating a meme, but we didn't call it memes back then. We called it Silly Putty.
Silly Putty.
Right.
So Rick Stoner and RDBDC, they're Silly Putty artists, essentially. They're modern day Silly Putty artists.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other toys we had back then. I had like an easy bake oven thing. It was pretty cool because you could cook your own pretzels using a light bulb, right? So
I never had that.
This is cool. Like you make your own little pretzel dough out of flour and water and salt, and that's it. And you stick it in there, and then you crank it through the oven, and the light bulb cooks it, which it never does cook it. It's like it comes out like gooey. It's horrible. But it's pretty cool though.
I asked my mom for that, and she told me, "Don't be stupid." So I just said, I think she called me an incel and told me.
What else do we have? Play-Doh, of course. Why does Play-Doh have that weird smell that you could smell Play-Doh instantly and it takes you back to your childhood? Whatever they put in Play-Doh. I think people now you can buy perfume and scents that have the scent of Play-Doh.
Oh, that's gross.
If people want to relive their childhood.
I did like the smell of Play-Doh though.
It has a very alluring smell.
Not like Play-Doh the philosopher.
No, he smelled bad. He never took a shower, Plato the philosopher.
Famously, yeah.
He stunk to high heaven, and nobody, Socrates said, this guy stinks. That's going to keep. That's why they had to keep walking when he was doing his pedagogical teachings, because the wind would carry the stench away from Plato.
Max has Jerry Mahoney eyes.
Really?
What is Jerry?
Well, Jerry Mahoney, that's the ventriloquist guy, right? Is it the ventriloquist, the doll, or Jerry Mahoney was the doll?
How do you know everything?
And Walter, the guy who's operating Jerry Mahoney was Winchell. Somebody Winchell.
I don't know how you know
Walter Winchell, I think his name was, and his doll was Mahoney is a ventriloquist doll. He's a huge on TV, especially in the 60s.
Never. Well, I wasn't.
Jerry Mahoney. Yeah, he was always. Ventriloquists are the very strange strata of the entertainment industry. I've known a few of them, and they're very, very ill, mentally unstable people.
Yeah, I bet. Like, I'm surprised there haven't been more that were serial killers and shit like that.
Yeah, it's clowns, ventriloquists, and magicians.
But remember, like, we had so many serial killers back in the 60s and 70s, and then they all went away. But you know what also went away is ventriloquists. You don't really have them anymore, right? Isn't that's what I'm saying? Like
it's a substrata. Like, you'll go on a cruise ship and there'll be some ventriloquist, some chick with a crazy doll, and it's like there doesn't take any talent to do ventriloquism, really, because and it's for people that can't master the art of a joke and be comedians. They do ventriloquism. And so there's kind of this base entertainment quality about them. And
you also get the sense there's a bit of a Travis Bickle, like they're spending too much time looking at themselves in a mirror.
Yeah, like, they're always talking to this dummy, and then they form a relationship with the dummy, and then the dummy starts talking to them, and then pretty soon they're the puppet, and the dummy is running the show, and things get very strange, very, very fast. So I avoid ventriloquists. Magicians are okay. You know, most of them are.
That's because you're a
crazy.
magician. You're prejudiced.
Yeah. That's right. I'm a former magician. You know, I got thrown out of the Magicians Union, the Society of American Magicians.
I didn't know that.
Sam, they disbarred me essentially.
Oh my God! Like, when I worked in London at a comedy production company, we were over. Our studio was just above the Magic Circle.
Yeah.
So they would come. They would meet like once every 2 weeks or once a month.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, like, those look like a bunch of losers. Like, these people look like mostly men, and just like that they probably still live in their mom's basement at like 40, 50 years old. And
yeah, no, it's definitely for guys trying to break the ice with women. You know, it's definitely a way to be social. Like, if you have some kid who's not social, he's not interacting, you know, the parents are like, hey, Johnny, learn some magic tricks, and maybe people won't fart on you. And so Johnny learns a few magic tricks, and then, you know.
Well, you taught Spencer Schiff some magic tricks.
That's Spencer Schiff, the son of Peter
like 8
Schiff.
years ago, and now he's into Bitcoin. Like, you converted him. You like, we went over to Peter Schiff's house. It was either like Thanksgiving or Christmas. It was the holiday seasons.
It was Christmas.
And it was like that year. So he lived at that time. He lived in Weston, Connecticut, where Keith Richards also lived. And it was the same year that somebody in Connecticut tried to blow up Keith Richards' house.
Westport.
No, Weston. I'm from Connecticut. I know this shit. It's Weston, Weston, near Westport, not too far from it. But Weston is even posher. But the thing is, we were over there, and his son Spencer was with him. I think he lived with his mom normally, and he was with him and his new wife. And Max was teaching him magic.
Yeah, he was using the magic tricks. We did some magic tricks.
Max he doesn't show magic tricks to adults anymore, but you're good with kids.
With kids, yeah, I like doing tricks for kids. And yeah, I did a lot of magic over the years. And you know, just saying that the subcultures of magicians is an interesting subculture. We were talking to my childhood magician friend just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Out in Seattle.
He's still near Seattle. He's still a magician as a 60-year-old guy.
Still doing it. Still doing the magic. But, you know, with the COVID and whatnot, it's been a tough year. So, you know, but still the magical flames are burning.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of magic, number go up technology is pretty. Yeah. It's like magic, right? Tell us what the price is.
I don't know. You know, what is it?
Well, you have to go to the one of the
28,839.
Yeah.
So it's like 30 or 40 bucks off today's high,
which is an all-time high.
28,877, right? So
okay, everybody's waiting for your prediction
for 2021.
Yeah.
I'm doing it on Daniela's show.
Oh,
I'm not doing it on this show.
Wow. So if you want to drop me a DM and give me $50, I'll tell you what it is. Hey, I suppose I should I think there's a way to turn on, like, people can donate money to you on this thing, on the live chat.
Great. Send me all your money. Great idea.
I did that when you were on Isaiah Jackson's show.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. The Gentleman of Crypto.
Yeah.
And I gave them $19.99.
That's awfully nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of that moment remember when we went to Essaouira in Morocco?
Yeah.
And it was wild. It was so cool because we went we drove out in a very dodgy car rental situation. We'll go into that in another time, but we rented this car from these locals, and I'm not sure it was totally legal. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, we were driving around, and we went to this market, and we were the only two white people there, non-Moroccan people. Mm-hmm. And it was like being in some biblical times because there were all these people all around. Totally different sort of market to what you might be used to, say, in Paris or something. Just like stuff everywhere. But there were like several hundred people mostly guys and young boys, like surrounding this snake charmer. And so the snake charmer was there with these like king cobra snakes, and doing all these things. I don't know, but he would walk around and like talk to people and like, I guess, ask for money. That's what we assumed, because he would, like, some people would give him some money, but us being like Americans, Max gave him like $10 worth of a big coin worth $10. And he's like, woo, woo, and everybody in the crowd was like roaring that Max had given this money, and it was just like, we didn't know what they were saying or what Max had done, and it was just like people were cheering and like shouting at Max, and and then he went and did something with the snake. But
it was a snake charmer.
Yeah,
for real. So
that's what I felt like when I went into the chat room, the live chat, and I gave $20. Everybody was like, "Whoa, Stacy!" I was like, "Oh, what happened?"
Yeah, that guy was cool. He's like a shaman.
Yeah,
and a snake charmer.
Somewhere I have some photos of that, because that was, I had some photos of the snake charmer behind you.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me back in the 1800s or so, the stories of Robert-Houdin.
Who's Robert?
Robert-Houdin is a famous French magician. He's the father of modern magic, and from whose name we get Houdini, right? So Houdini took his name from Houdin. And Houdin was the first modern magician, you could say. He wore a tuxedo and he was indoors. Typically, magicians were outdoors and they didn't have that formal attire. And he was enlisted by the government, the English government, I guess you could say at the time, or the French government, to go to North Africa and to put down the fakirs who had risen up in power with their magic.
Yeah.
And he was given the job of exposing their fakery. And
so Houdini basically did the same thing.
Exactly. Right? Houdini did that. And then the amazing Randy picked up on this Houdini idea of exposing the fake. Houdini exposed the fake spiritual mediums of his day, the 1920s or so. Robert, and then the amazing Randy busted in the 70s people like Uri Geller. Remember the spoon benders of that time? And then, but going back to Robert-Houdin's day, he was doing the same thing, but in I guess it was northern Africa, I believe, or in Mid East. I haven't looked at this history recently, but essentially, I know the story is that he was sent there because the fakirs were rising in power and they had huge populist support, and the governments were considering them a political threat. So they had to be exposed. Their fakery had to be exposed. But
I mean, that's a nonstop constant throughout human history, right? Like, look at number go up. I mean, XRP still goes up. Like, people buy this sell off. I mean, the SEC is going to destroy that. There's no returning from this. Like, it's gone, and yet people still hold out some sort of hope of some magic happening for them. And so I just think it's like,
well, the people behind it are fakirs. They're charlatans.
Yeah.
And that charlatans are difficult to deal with. They know how to get into people's heads and to get them to do silly things like buy these shitcoins. And but that's human nature. And this is magicians. There's that documentary about the amazing Randy that we just saw, which is an extraordinary documentary. And he talks about how in every magician's life, there comes a point in time where they have to ask themselves the big question. Because once you know the basics of magic and how to fool people with magic, you then have the ability to get them to do stuff really against their will, do stuff that's not in their interest, right? To manipulate them, or manipulate their conscience in a lot of different ways. And magicians have to decide, are they going to be just on the entertainment side of this business, or are they going to be like trying to sell snake oil and Uri Geller type selling false hopes and false beliefs? Like, you have to decide which way you're going to go with this. And that's very true. I would say an interesting variation on this, and it became popular in the 1980s, was the idea of neuro-linguistic programming.
I remember that.
NLP.
That phrase. Yeah, but I don't. What was it about?
NLP is the science of persuasion. And it's the way to create empathy with people subconsciously using techniques. And what people use it for back in the 80s would be for sales, selling, telesales, or doing sales. You know, if you can create empathy, you can close a sale. And that's the hardest thing about selling, is you to create that empathy with the person that you're engaged with, who you're trying to sell something to. So neuro-linguistic programming is really like rocket fuel in the hands of a professional salesperson. That was, the closing rate of sales folks who were on the NLP track was, went up a lot. And but again, it's kind of nefarious, because you have a power now over somebody's subconscious mind. And so that, it's a moral question. You have to decide, am I going to use this for good, or I'm going to use this for bad?
But that's what, like, let me interrupt here for a moment, because we watched that Amazing Randy thing together. And one thing that stood out was that he went and spent a lot of time and energy debunking this healer sort of guy. And he would travel around America with his religious fervor, and he would speak to God, and God was speaking to him. And I see somebody out there in the audience, and your son is not sick. He's like, he's sick, and like the Lord Jesus wants him. And like, it was actually his wife feeding him information through his ear.
Yeah.
But even when he was publicly exposed, because the Amazing Randy had taped him and stuff, like, people didn't stop going to this guy. They still wanted to hear this message. They still wanted hope. So it wasn't like people wanted to hear. They didn't want him to be debunked.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at today's media landscape and the political landscape. The various conspiracy theories that were dominant narratives in the last 24 months have been debunked thoroughly.
The whole Russiagate stuff, and MSNBC.
But again,
those people were psychologically wounded, because they feel like they're the superior people, that they're the educated people, that they live in cities, that they earn more than the rest of America, the red state America. They're sophisticated, they have transgender bathrooms, and that therefore they should rule.
Yeah, and they have an agenda.
The fact that the people rejected them, like, they couldn't accept rejection, so they had to come up with a reason. Same thing with all those people in the audience in a desperate situation. It's like, their son is dying, or they're impoverished, or like something has struck them, like, by chance.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're vulnerable. And in the case of NBC, they have an agenda. And even though the conspiracy theories were debunked, they're still getting traction, because they're using some of these subliminal techniques and NLP techniques. I can see Rachel Maddow using NLP in her broadcasts. It's not right. It should be called out for what it is. It's like when I was a kid, they outlawed subliminal advertising. You couldn't have that in an advertising. You couldn't have an ad for Coca-Cola and then cut in for a brief second an image of somebody dying of thirst, or in the desert.
A naked woman, they would have those.
Right,
like, I took a course in that in high school where they.
Right, so then they outlawed subliminal advertising, but it's completely rife in all media today. If you when I was younger in college, we had media studies. We studied media during the time of Marshall McLuhan, when media was a separate entity that you would study the media, and the medium is not the message, or the message is the media, which is which. How do you deconstruct media? How do you take it apart and analyze it in its component elements? And you don't have media studies anymore, because I think everyone is immersed in social media, and they're living in a fishbowl, and they don't know they're unaware of the fact that they're living in a fishbowl, just like a fish is not aware that it's swimming in water. People on social media are not aware that they're swimming in this digital medium that's being controlled, by using the most basic subversive, subliminal propaganda techniques that we know over the past 50 years. And where's that heading? It's not heading to a good place, I don't think. Now, Bitcoin, to me, is the vector out of all this mess. And again, that's why the price goes up, because
Number go up technology. There's 420 people in the live chat now watching us live. This is pretty amazing. I feel like because there's so many people here, what is the live price? Do you know?
Yeah, I
have we hit?
know the
have
live
we
price.
hit 29,000?
No, 28,730.
28,730. Like, if there's enough people who want to do smash buy together, we could all smash buy before we do.
We can make the 29,000 happen together right now.
Yeah, this could be like Abby Hoffman
raising the Pentagon.
Like raising the Pentagon.
Yeah, it could be. You know, this is like bring back the Abby Hoffman vibe. We're gonna raise the Pentagon.
Who wants to do the orange pill? Raise the price. Come on, tell me.
Raise the price, baby. And where were we? Oh yeah, you know, is Bitcoin, like, you know, here's the question: is Bitcoin a reflection of the mass hallucination, let's call it, that is propelling its number go up technology, or is it on its own vector, propelled by its own volition? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's an interesting philosophical question. In my view, Bitcoin it became self-aware around block 300,000.
29,000.
It's on its own vector. It's propelling itself. And it's heading toward a place that you'd have to go, you know, outside of the 5 or 6 dimensions we're aware of to begin to understand where it's going. It's beyond all of our sixth senses. So it's into the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sensory.
They're ready to smash.
Paradigm is where Bitcoin is heading. And we can go there with it. You know, we have the cerebral capability to keep up with Bitcoin as it travels into this multiverse if we choose to do so. But it would require a complete absence of fear, right? So you must eradicate fear from the soul entirely.
Let's eradicate it by smash buying. Everybody is calling for a smash. They want the smash orchestra. That's what we've called right here. Satoshi, come visit us. Satoshi, we're gonna go smash.
It's a mirror. It's a spiritual medium. We're gonna raise Satoshi from his anonymous quadrant, and we'll make him manifest here live on this orange pill microdose.
Let's go over. Everybody, log on to your swanbitcoin.com.
Ectoplasmic manifestation of Satoshi.
Let's do it. Okay.
Manifest here in the spiritual seance.
I'm gonna buy instantly.
Do it.
They need to change it to smash buy. They need to make instead of instant.
Look at that. I see the smash buy going.
Okay.
Through.
2,500 goes right now.
Do it. Here it is.
Yeah. Come on. Smash that buy. Come on.
Let's get the
yeah. The balloons are there. Yeah.
Happy times.
I love this New Year's Eve. I love it.
It's the best year ever. I can't believe we're having the best year ever.
I mean, I can't believe I just bought, what was the price? It's almost $29,000. And and I feel like I feel better than when I bought it at like $2,000 or $200.
Right, because the Bitcoin mind has grown inside your regular mind.
I feel, because I feel like I'm in like, woohoo! Like we're all snake charmers.
Yeah.
Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, number go up. Like we're like that snake charmer guy in Essaouira. Like we're getting this thing to go up. You know, Jethro Tull used to hang out in Essaouira too. And Max is gonna start singing Aqualung one day.
Well, that's the worst song ever. Jethro Tull is overrated. I don't see how anybody. Why did they play him on the radio? Okay, it's over.
No, number go up. Bitcoin's going up though. Bitcoin's going up. Power to the people. Charm my snake. I don't have fiat right now, so no smashing. There was a rumor that LHC might have been self-aware. Max, how much Bitcoin did you gift Russell Brand? Smashing, smashed it. Smash, buy. Okay, well, so loads of people smash bought. Like, it's super happy. Everybody's happy.
Smash buy.
Max is gonna go smash by. He feels left out because I
feel bad.
I was the one smash buying over here, and now he feels like, oh, Stacy's ahead of me. There's a race here.
That's right. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to keep up.
Right. So I think it's there's a lot of people here, but you know what the thing is?
What?
We're gonna head over soon.
Is that the number of people? 419?
That's 419.
All right, so I got 419 in the chat room. Is it called the chat room?
It's the live stream.
Live stream
which
room?
includes a live chat.
Yeah, remember the troll box from
BTCE?
BTCE. So
BTCE ended up being shut down by the U.S. government, the FBI, because that Russian guy who lived in Cyprus turns out to have been the one who hacked Mt. Gox. And he was laundering those proceeds through BTCE.
Right.
But the troll box was super fun. It was like this. It was going live like this, where you could see all the chat coming through. This was back in like 2012, 13, 14. I don't know, like that area.
Yeah.
And I went in there. I went on there one day, 36 hours, and I transferred 1 Bitcoin, and I came away with 2.5 Bitcoin. But the thing is, like, I was just like playing, like I wanted to see what it was, and I don't know, I was buying all sorts of Shitcoins and like transferring, trading in and out of stuff.
Yeah.
Just on symbols. I had no idea what the coins were.
Nobody does.
But nobody does, right?
No.
This is my 36 hours of total like trolldom, and all the chat, like it would be like people like, oh my god, huge sell wall coming in, everybody dump it. Like everybody's trying to like trick everybody into either dumping or buying. And it would always be like, Max Kaiser just said this. And like Max was sitting over there.
And we were in bed together.
And I knew he hadn't said that. And
I'm reading the troll box on your phone saying Max Kaiser just said this and this.
Yeah, and I would like show it to Max.
I know for sure I didn't say that.
But the thing is like it was so much fun and addictive, like just mostly because of the troll box, like the live chat. Like you were like playing these people. I didn't know, like, and then I kept on winning and winning and winning. I guess mostly because they were like fake news about Max Kaiser.
Yeah, you knew actually that was the fake news. So you were front running the fake news because I was the axe around which they were spinning this fake news. So yeah, for a couple hours, I think you made flawless. It was like Jamie Dimon over there at JP Morgan. They made 90 straight days of flawless trading without a single down day. So that was Stacy Herbert back in 2013.
Yeah, well, actually, Bitcoin was $300. I remember that. But and I was down at one point. I got up to a certain point, and then I lost about $50 worth, and that's when I got out. But I was like in total panic mode. Like I was just like, drr, drr, drr. And just like, it was fun. It was fun. But that was the last
those days, those exchanges, there was no KYC. There was no verification of anybody. You could just open an account. You could wire money in from anywhere, and you're trading within 2 minutes. And it was just complete craziness. But also what you just said there is interesting. Like, okay, there's a rumor that this Russian guy was laundering money from Mt. Gox.
Yeah.
I mean, and back in 2013, 14, that was the atmosphere was dominated.
Like you would be like, yeah, okay, well, he must have a lot of Bitcoin then.
And the volatility was, Bitcoin would go up 100% a day, and then drop 50% a day, and then up 200%, and all these altcoins would be like, making moves that are thousands of percentage points, one way or another. So I mean, that was like the most insane market. I think that's what drove a lot of people crazy, and you saw a lot of that leading up to 2017. Was the remnants of the 2013, 2014 era, where people decided to take that psychosis and blast it out during this ICO mania and the 2017 peak.
But also, like, I mean, that was the world we were living in. And then you come back to America and everybody's like these social justice warriors and so hurt and angry and like needing psychological counseling because of something somebody said in a forum board. And you were just like, I mean, that was the fun of it. You would jump in. It was like a mosh pit. Like, speaking of punk, you jump into a mosh pit and you like start kicking everybody and jumping all over the place, right? And slamming into people. The same thing was that. I would, like, I forget what my name was, but I certainly didn't go by Stacy Herbert. And I'd be like, fuck that Max Kaiser. He knows jack shit. And I was just like, like I was jumping in with them and just creating this atmosphere of a mosh pit.
Yeah. And from that primordial soup, from that Cambrian explosion of nonsense came $29,000 per Bitcoin, heading to parity with gold, from that. From a single cell, from a little acorn, from one fleck of dust,
of one Satoshi,
came the Renaissance 2.0.
Right. And before we go, like I've been saying, we have to go. We all smash bot. I smash bot some more. It seems like everybody in the forum board or the live chat or the troll box here. Let's call it the troll box. I like troll box.
Troll box is cool.
It's like better. Like I mean, basically, like our Telegram group is like a troll box, right? Except for I have my orange sparkly shoe, and I beat the shit out of some
dominatrix.
People. Yeah, and I smack those people around, and some people then, like I saw some people on our Apple podcast reviews. Some incels went there and like, fuck this podcast. They kicked me out of their Telegram group. I was like, what kind of fucking review is that, you incel? Go back with your micro penis and go tell your mom like to cook you some pie or something.
Exactly.
Respect the Banshew, Herbert's Hammer, Smurf Box, Roll Box. I am a troll. I am there. Troll Box. Everybody loves memories of moshing. I went to a lot of. I did the whole mosh pit thing. I saw the Violent Femmes and Husker Du. I went to their concert. And
did you go to any raves?
No. I was in London when that was like really big.
Yeah.
Just in the 90s. But I wasn't into that. Well, because I wasn't. I think you had to be into that. What was that drug everybody was?
Yeah. What was that drug? The love drug.
What was the love? Yeah. What was that drug everybody took?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of new at the time.
It made you super dehydrated. And it carried on water.
Yeah. The what was the anyway?
I can't remember. What was the name of the love drug back in the rave day? Troll box. What's the troll box? And the troll box says
Viagra.
No, not Viagra.
Molly, no. Ecstasy.
No.
Yeah.
Ecstasy, yeah. Ecstasy.
I never took ecstasy, but
no.
So I wasn't into that. I just wasn't into that period, but I was more into the mosh pit thing when I was a teenager, and a young person went to a few of those things. I don't know why. Now looking back on it seems kind of weird that I just like, I would just like go to those things. Like, I think I went with a girlfriend or something. I don't know. Maybe I went on my own, and you just go into this pit of a whole bunch of men. And I was like pretty skinny teenage girl, like weighing 100 pounds, and we like slamming everybody. And then you just drive home.
Yeah, as you do.
But that's what my job is nowadays, like in the Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group.
Yeah,
I go in there like
bouncer.
Body slam, like
Stacy the bouncer.
No, it kind of makes me feel the same. I'm like, whew, that was fun. Now it's time to go have dinner. All right.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Speaking of dinner.
Well, so it's time for us to take a 30, 40-minute break, and then we're going to come back on our Zoom call if you feel like joining us. You might be like, fuck those like old people, like okay boomer.
Yeah.
People, because of you're a boomer, like they just lump me in on a boomer. I don't care. Like whatever.
Really? You're lumped in with the boomers?
Well, we're Generation X. Nobody pays attention to us anyway. So I might as well be another generation, right?
Right.
At least I get like a meme about me. Are there any memes about Gen X? No. Right? There's loads of memes about boomers.
Yeah, boomers got a lot of memes.
Yeah.
Gen X got nothing.
Like nobody even bothers making fun of us.
That's how forgotten the Gen X is so forgotten. There's not even any jokes about you.
Even like nobody even wants to be cruel about us. That sucks.
That's low.
Right. But anyway, like if you happen to join our Telegram group, if I haven't banned you yet,
yeah,
you know, go there. The Zoom calls, I think we can only do 99 people on the call. So, you know, we got 99 problems and you might be 99 of them. Oh, look, I'm going to be able to turn it off from here.
Oh, wow. Using, what's that called?
It's the Stream Deck.
Stream Deck.
See,
oh, the Stream Deck.
Watch this. Any last words before I hang up on you? Stacy. See, Stacy. Stacy. Get it?
Stacy.
I like, you know.
I need my ecstasy.
People used to call me Stacky all the time
really?
in London because they said because my name didn't have an E in it, that it in fact should be called Stacky. So
really?
they were seeing Satoshi in my future.
Reminds me of Terry Sawchuk, the goalie for the
Jesus Christ.
I think it was the Detroit Red Wings for a while.
Yeah, go Google him because he has some good photos of him. Okay, yeah. Max to the kitchen. Go smash in the UK. Okay, we're you know, Max and I are totally bankrupt now. We're totally fiat bankrupt. We fucking spent it all on swanbitcoin.com. Like
I got nothing for no fiat.
Make it, buy me something. I don't got no. We might have to do like a Peter McCormick and just like borrow a bunch of money.
We're borrowing money from Peter McCormick to buy Bitcoin. And he's being charged 8% and he's charging us 12%. So there's an interest rate arbitrage between Max Stacy.
Now that's
Peter McCormick.
It's not arbitrage, just interest rate apartheid.
It's usury.
See those Brits. Those goddamn Brits and their apartheid imposition on like...
It's usurious. Peter McCormick's charging us usurious rates of interest to buy our Bitcoin.
Go to his podcast and leave his comment saying that he's charging usurious
we know he's less than 8% he's getting for his money, and he's charging us 12. That's not right, Peter McCormick.
No!
Not right.
Right. Anyway, it was fun chatting with you. Thank you for this... microdose, which was like a full dose, 2 hours sort of thing.
Oh shit!
No, it was just an hour.
But
I like to exaggerate, you know.
Do you?
Yeah.
No way.
Anyway, so you know we're gonna take a half-hour break, and then I'll post a Zoom link in the Telegram group. So let's see if this works. If I've programmed this correctly. First, I'll put the title up.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. So you get to see the title, and we are now like looking very punk at the very end. And then I'm going to hit this other button. Either it's going to blow up the whole house because I wired it wrong, which would be a fantastic ending for a couple like us, like who we're content creators.
Yep.
That we will go viral in our last moments.
That's it. They finally went.
So you want to press that button
and
end the show? Just that one right there and hold it for a second.
All right.